even more than yesterday. So first of all, I'm very sorry that we had to change the link. Oh, hi, to the son of Ismaili. So I'm very sorry that we had to change the link for the meeting today. It was an unexpected technical issue. I will quickly go through the agenda for today. Let me share my screen. So we will start by hearing from the pillar chair about their proposals for new activities or eventually proposals that we can actually write for next year. So we will follow the pillars order, pillar 1 first, then pillar 2, 3, 4, and 5. For pillar 5, there will not be the chair of the pillar speaking, but the chair of the NENA Soil Laboratory Network. So Mr. Abdelmajid Zouari. I would like to close this session within 1 hour. So there will be some presentations eventually or some short speech from the side of the chairs, and then discussion. So we will discuss on what they present and see if we can actually implement it or not. After that, we move to the presentation, an introduction to the new project that we got. So it's a FAO funded project. It's called TCP on soil, of course. So we will have the leading technical officer from FAO, R&D in this case, to introduce us to the project. And then you are very welcome, and please do it, to ask questions on how we actually implement this project in the country. So all technical and administrative details you can ask about it and so on. Before the closure of the meeting, and this is something I anticipate you because I would like to give you some time to think about it. We need to make a decision on the new chair, vice chair of the NENA Soil Partnership and the new chairs for the pillars, because the mandate of the current chairs expired this year. This is the report of our third meeting. It should be the ones that we had in Rome. And as you can see, well, this is a summary of the governance and how we have our partnership organized till now. As you can see, the mandate was from 2018 to 2020. So my proposal is that you all think about, well, if you are a chair already, if you would like to recandidate for the position, or if you are not a chair, if you would like to candidate for the position, then you can either communicate it to everybody at the meeting, or send me an email. And then my proposal is that I organize like an online poll, like a survey after the meeting, and we do the elections. And after that, I process your vote, basically your preferences, and send you the revised governance of the partnership. If you are fine with this, or if you have a better proposal, because I think it's not feasible to do the election during the meeting, also because we need maybe to think about it. You have to check if you can actually take any role. So I would do a follow-up to this by email, but this is just to let you know that we have to review the governance of the partnership. Now, because time is short, I would like to give the floor to the chair of the first pillar, so pillar 1. So Ms. Rafla. Rafla, are you with us? Let me see. Rafla?
Yes, good morning, Lucrezia, and I chair my...
Yes.
Yes.
So Rafla will tell us about a project proposal that she has in mind. It's about the implementation of soil rehabilitation programs, including sustainable soil management and sustainable land management practices, and scaling out to areas at high risk of soil degradation. So Rafla, the floor is yours for the presentation. Please be conscious of time so that we can stay within 1 hour for all the 5 pillars. Let me stop sharing.
Just I chair my... okay. It's okay. So my presentation good morning everybody. My presentation deals with the implementation of soil rehabilitation program, including SSM and SLM practices, and scaling out to area at higher risk of soil degradation. So, introduction, scientific evidence show that SSM practices, if widely adopted, help to prevent, to reduce or revert land degradation, to contribute to climate change adaptation and mitigation, to protect biodiversity, achieve multiple sustainable development goals, to increase human well-being globally. So to set up a process to plan SSM implementation, this focus on dissemination of the best SSM practices promoted in countries through targeted action in the field and strategic decision-making from local to national to regional level, to provide tools and activity for sustainable soil management implementation and promotion. This can start with the first step is land degradation assessment, identification of SSM good practices, capacity building on SSM implementation, collaborating with land user and other relevant stakeholders to assess and address barrier to adoption of this SSM, and to share experience at local, national, and regional level, and decision support upscaling mainstreaming plan. So many scale of intervention, so integration of tools and approaches to assess soil quality and SSM implementation are needed at different scale, the watershed, the parcel, and social organization. Here at regional level, so harmonized SSM planning and implementation for upscaling and regional level is needed. So as you know, the common characteristic of arid countries of Maghreb region can be explained by the extent of the arid and Saharan zone, which cover more of 70% of the land. As you see here, the association between water and soil resources, land use and land use techniques is expressed by especially by homogeneous agroecological region. So due to the ecosystem variability, steep topography, semi-arid condition, and inappropriate land management farming system, in each agroecological system, countries faces serious degradation. So for the region, the cropping olive cereal is amongst the main income source for the region. There are also continuous pressure on the forest and pastures. So the challenge is for the soil management is soil of Maghreb region are highly vulnerable to degradation, and future food security will depend on sustainable agricultural measures. So we see that for the Maghreb region, the north part is dominated by humid to semi-arid and forest and pastoral ecosystem. This is the main landscape for the northern part, and for the middle part, the semi-arid and arid area contain pastoral ecosystem and arboriculture, olive growing, and irrigated area. The steppe is dominated also area and well represented in the region. They are mainly found dispersed in Algeria, Morocco, and Tunisia. The steppe are a zone suited by agro-pastoralism. In Saharan system, and desert system, the oases are affected by increased water salinity and loss of plant biodiversity. So what measure we need? The harmonized SSM planning and implementation for upscaling at national and regional level. So to promote the SSM in the Maghreb, it is recommended a sequence of action that should be led. like scaling up of regional project, implementation of best SSM practices, innovative and integrated implementation of SSM approach and technology to enhance national regional capacity, to catalyze the private sector for investment, to seek opportunity for co-financing or new financial resources. So the project will be defined with participation of country. The project area will be regional level and national level. So the component of project, we need the first time the contribution to promote the implementation of SSM. This shall serve as a bridge that will put LDN target into action. This way we can need the opportunity by financing with from UNCCG to encourage SSM implementation to reach LDN target. This is opportunity of financing. And as all the drivers of land degradation are existing in the project area, it will serve as a laboratory of SSM implementation. Also, this component, this contribution will lead to develop a model of SSM planning and implementation in the selected area for upscaling at national and regional level. The project aims also is to improve land cover, to enhance soil organic carbon and enhance land productivity thanks to SSM practices and activity in forest, rangeland and cropland. It will help to fill the gaps. There's the gaps for each country, and this opportunity to fill the gaps on developing methods and tools for SSM implementation, monitoring and evaluation. It also will establish tools and mechanisms to collect systematic information on land degradation and will assist in developing and improving SSM monitoring and reporting model. The second component is the benefit, to evaluate the benefit of implementation of SSM practices. As you know, as well known, 25% of greenhouse gas emissions are caused by land degradation. The project aims to ensure the decrease in terrestrial greenhouse gas emission using SSM practices. So to prevent land degradation, to reduce land degradation and to rehabilitate soil and decrease the emission of greenhouse gas. So this project will provide carbon benefit and on land via SSM and SLM practices at the national and regional level. It will also contribute to the integration of climate change in the LGN decision support system and to test on the project area. It will also contribute to protect biodiversity. So the third component is the scaling up. It will generate a new and innovative approach to multi-sector land use planning based on SSM testing and implementation. It will seek to disseminate and analyze best practices in agriculture, rangeland, and forest land, and disseminate the lessons learned through the project initiative. So the project will include all the best implementation, significant means in upscaling this method and tools. Example, forest land rehabilitation, best agricultural practices, fertilizer management, efficient and effective use of water, prevention of water and soil pollution, climate change adaptation through management.
Rafla, I'm sorry, can you make the screen bigger?
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect, thanks.
So the fourth component is enhancing national regional capacity. Project activity will include all necessary stakeholders and their participation to project will be improved. It will focus on building capacity of institutions at local, national, regional level and communities like stakeholder and beneficiary. It will contribute to support country leadership and ensure national regional accountability for project implementation. The last component is leveraging finance, including private sector. We try to involve private sector in this project, and the main sector on land use planning and management could be to the co-financer for the project. The project will be beneficial to the local entity, including the private sector. This is, I try to make a table for component, result, and outcome. I will not read the details. It will be present in the presentation and shared with all participants. So just I will read the main component. So the first component, strengthening the enabling of environment for SSM implementation. The second one, project component, is the decision support system of SSM adoption. This is deals with effective and economic approach for carbon, for example, to improving land cover and to make software for SSM development. The third component is demonstration of SSM implementation and sharing experience between country and regional level. The last one is the upscaling of SSM implementation, monitoring and evaluation, and sharing the experience on project related to lesson learned at national and SSM guideline establishment. So the expectation from the project is to develop a model for SSM planning and implementation for upscaling at national and regional level, monitoring land use trend with a model and software to be created, to provide a mechanism and organization for the achievement of national regional implementation, to generate a new innovative approach to multi-sector land use planning based on testing and implementation. And the most important thing is the creation of national, regional, online information sharing forum on SSM for stakeholder engagement. Also to disseminate and analyze best practices. The project will include all of the best implementation method tools and monitoring system. So the conclusion, a strategic orientation was developed in the last also regional FAO meeting organized in Tunisia in December 2019, led by Maki, and the most recommendation was that to promote SLM in the Maghreb, it was recommended a sequence of action that should lead to creation of a process and regional and collaborative information exchange network on sustainable land and soil management, Maghreb network of institute for SLM, SSM, or Maghreb partnership on soil. Joint organization Maghreb country for event of on the occasion of World Soil Day, and capacity building for exploitation of FAO instrument and resources available for SLM, SDM, SSM, and GDS. So also to prioritize the search of funding for priority areas. Thank you for attention.
Thank you very much, Rafla, and thank you also for staying within the time. I think it was very interesting, and I would like to open the floor for questions or even suggestions. I'm especially also looking at donors. You mentioned that a donor can be the UNCCD, right? Maybe we can create a list of donors to approach. I would like to ask my colleagues from FAO that are joining the meeting also to please make suggestions and comment to your proposal. So I open the floor to participants for interventions. So what do you think about the proposal of Rafla? I'm opening. I have a question. Do you think that there would be any country? My understanding is this is actually a sub-regional project proposal, so only for the Maghreb region. Do you think there would be any government, any country that would feel like financing this type of project? Because in the GSP, for example, we have countries that act as donors. Mohammed, yes, please.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. I just want to, to say this is a very good proposal. This is a very good project, very much needed in the region. Not only for the sub-region, but for the whole region also. And I encourage also others to do the same. And we will talk later, my colleague, Dr. Abdelhamid, will talk about the TCP that also covers some part of that one. But my only comment is that, Atia, that this region is contributing, the whole region is contributing 4.6% of the whole CO2 emission. The whole region, that's 19 countries, meaning that really working on mitigation is very important, but adaptation have been seen for a long time, and now even with the negotiators, that it is the priority of the region. So I will focus more on the adaptation part than really the mitigation part, which is also important. Like you said, 25% of the whole global CO2 is coming from land issues. But yet for this region, I think focus is really much more needed on the adaptation part than the mitigation part. I understand this is a global international need, especially with after 1.5 degrees report that we really have to cut down CO2, but yet for this region, I think we still concern more about adaptation. So I will focus more on that one. Thank you.
Lucrezia, please, can I just one comment that the project cannot be limited only to Maghreb region, because just the justification of Maghreb participation is the similarity between ecosystem and the agro ecosystem, but the approach can be of the project can be adopted by many other countries, and it can be a NENA region project, but the suggestion of Maghreb was justified by just only the similarity of agro and ecosystem and climate and common Saharan region. But the approach of project can be adopted by many countries. I'm sorry, man, it's not limited for the 3 or 4, but it can be open for all countries, and it will be interesting experience to unify all NENA region and to work all to share experience and to harmonize methodology to assess, to implement, to share information, and this will be very interesting. Thank you.
I'm taking
sorry, I didn't say that it's for Maghreb. I was talking about something different, talking about mitigation versus adaptation priority in the region, in the Maghreb and others too. Thank you.
Hello, Lucrezia, may I make a comment?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. First, hello to everyone. Sorry, I couldn't connect from the previous link, so it took me a while using the second link that Lucrezia sent. I am totally, I totally agree with Mohammed. Our priority should be on adaptation in NENA region. Mitigation related to soil is quite limited relative to other areas like United States, North America, or Europe, or even Southeast Asia. But I think the question of not mitigation of emissions, but sequestration of carbon as soil carbon in the soil can be a measure similar with an effect and impact like mitigation. And that is what I would like to suggest during my own presentation, that rather than mitigation, we can use, not that we have to totally forget about mitigation. We have to take care about mitigation, but we have to focus on carbon sequestration and adaptation more.
Thanks for your remark, Bahram. I'm taking note as we talk. I don't know if Rafla wants to rebut to it, but actually I share your point of view. And I'm also thinking that we can connect these, because I know what you will present. So I think that we can actually merge the proposal of, put the inputs of Rafla with your inputs into the same proposal.
I would be more than happy to do that. And I think we have to work on a regional proposal using United Nations capacities as well as Horizon 22 capacity, which has a lot of funds for NENA region. And I would be more than happy to work with her and other colleagues here.
Lucrezia, can I just have some comment here? Yes. In some of our countries here, like Morocco, for example, one of the Maghreb countries, they have 2 or 3 GCF-approved projects. Iran also have, and some others. So what is really important to harmonize at the national level? What is really kind of activities that you can maximize the benefit of that support coming from outside? So I will agree with my colleague that we will have a co-benefit, they call it, mitigation co-benefit of even an adaptation project. So I will encourage also my colleague Atia here to make sure that also she is linking the other projects to that to maximize, so we don't have to repeat the same thing. We start from scratch in each project. So already something is happening, so let us also build on it and complete. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Mohammed. Now Talal, please.
Thank you. I was looking for the raise hand option. There is no in Zoom raise hand option. Thank you, Rafla, for your important presentation. I have a question regarding the sustainable land management. Do you plan to consider the precision agriculture as one of the component in this project? What I mean here, precision agriculture is reliance on space technique, on drones, or even on FAO platform, WAPR, which present updated ET maps for the region, where we can precisely know water demand and adapt to the crops in the given territory. Here, precision agriculture can help very much the sustainable soil management to add fertilizer, the kind of fertilizer needed where there is deficiency, because you can also manage to monitor the leaf area index and NDVI from space. We have to rely on these tools. Are you considering these tools as a part of SLM?
Yes, I can respond. The project involves the developing tools and approach. And in the framework of the tools, certainly we will think to use precision agriculture and new technology. And digital technology now is involved and developed, and I think that the meeting will be held on a new and digital technology. So involving new technology and new techniques to monitor fertilization of soil, like agroscan is a new tools to follow, and soil fertility and many others techniques. So this will be taken in account in project, sure. Thank you.
Many thanks. Is there anyone else that would like to comment to the proposal of Rafla. Meanwhile, I'm actually looking at the EU portal to see if there is any H2020 grant we can access to, because I think that's also a good suggestion in terms of donors.
So, Lucreza, can I speak?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Atia, for your presentation and your proposal. It's a very important proposal. My suggestion that to generalize this project for all NENA countries, not just Maghreb region, because you know most of us, or not of most, all the regions suffer from climate change. So my suggestion also for adaptation and mitigation. Thank you.
Yes, sure. It will be interesting to share the project with all NENA region country. Yes, this will be a very good recommendation.
Thank you.
So my conclusion is that actually we agree on this proposal. Of course, during the writing of the proposal, we will make changes, also building on the comments that we are receiving now. So we can start looking actually for donors, and based on the donors, we can start drafting the project document. If you agree, I endorse it with my imaginary hammer. And I move to the second pillar. Thank you so much, Rafla. Manal.
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready, Lucreza, I'm ready.
Okay, Rafla, if you can please stop sharing your screen. Manal, the floor is yours. So we pillar 2. So it's on awareness raising, policy education, extension services, and so on. And Manal is the chair. And now you worked a lot over the years. I have to recognize it. So now he has more proposals for us.
Yeah, thank you, Lucreza. Thank you for you and my colleagues in NENA region. I will talk about pillar 2, the future activities, and what we did. What we did in during this year and the last year. As you know, pillar 2 interest in encourage investment, technical cooperation, policy, education, awareness, and extension in field of soils. Now, what we did during, as I mentioned, during the last year and this year, we're launching the policy brief in Cairo during land and water days. It was a good step during our conference, land and water days. Also, policy briefs, we had 3 policy briefs. One, as I mentioned yesterday, regional challenge, salt-affected soils and green water. And I hope to go on this activity, in this activity. Also yesterday, I mentioned we were continuing to translate education material into local language, and recently we have been translating SOPs of soil analysis. And I hope my colleagues in NENA region help us in this activity, especially in the French language. Also, we participated in SOLEX and translated into Arabic language. Now we created NENA Facebook, but I think we need more care to reactive this activity by sending your events, abstracts of your works in fields of soil and other activities that's interest in soil sustainability and soil in general. Also, we created a WhatsApp group, and I think it's very important for all of us. It's very important mean to contact with each other. My proposal for future activities. I think we should go on policy briefs to continue in this event, in this activity, because it's very important issue for all of us to continue in this series and produce more and more of this series. Also, we need your help in this field to go on translating of soil material, especially to French language. About soil doctor, as you know, this activity was launched previously, but it's very important to adapt by NENA countries, because most of us don't know about this important program, and I recommended in this proposal to know more and more about this program for the countries of NENA. What we need now, training in soil doctor for national teams in NENA countries. Also, we need developing soil testing kits and training in these kits for national teams in NENA to move this technology for the farmers, for the extensions, and for technical engineers. And thank you.
Many thanks, Manal, and also many thanks for linking actually the activities of Pillar 2 to those of another pillar that are those of Pillar 5 in terms of production of reagents for the soil testing kit of the soil doctors. So many thanks for making the connection and for promoting actually the writing of the policy briefs. This was something very successful that we did last year, and that actually helped us to get the TCP project, because we launched our first policy brief during the Land and Water Days 2019, and that also helped. Is there any question from participants to the meeting? Any suggestion on what else we can do under Pillar 2?
No suggestions?
Yeah, who is speaking? Okay. If you don't have any remarks, well, I would say that we agree on this proposal for Pillar 2, and we move to Pillar 3. Many thanks, Manal.
Thank you. I will come, Carissa.
Thank you. So now it's the time for Pillar 3, that is on research. So Bahram, the floor is yours. Manal, please stop sharing your screen.
I'm trying to share the screen.
If you have any presentation, I didn't receive it.
Yes, I have a presentation. I don't know if you can see the PowerPoint file.
Yes, now yes.
Very, very good.
And make the slides bigger, please.
Oh, the video is off.
We just see your screen in editing mode. So.
But in fact, I wanted simply to make sure that you see the PowerPoint file.
Yes, we see it.
Okay. In fact, what I wanted to do on Pillar 3, to make a regional initiative so that the 19 countries together can work on a couple of issues. And one of them is related to creating a database, a regionally supported database, but not even limited to the region. I'm hoping that together with our friends in other countries, we can initiate a database on global scale. And NENA can be the starting point for that. To talk about it, I would like first to discuss why we really need to do that. This is an image of the planet Earth. And this smaller blue color sphere that you see is all the water that we have. Then the smaller blue dot is all of the fresh water that we have. And lower than that, this small blue dot is all of the surface fresh water that we have. So people are familiar with the concept of limitation on water. And here is what we have as atmosphere. Only 2001 kilometers is the sphere of all of the air that we have. People are aware of that because of climate change. But we don't have such an image in which we also think about soil. Do we have a sphere of soil that we have to pay attention to? I think the level of research on water and atmosphere is quite expanded, but not related to soil. And that is what we have to do. And that is the basic idea behind the, in fact, proposal that I have. And I'm hoping that if I can do it like this, still you have the sphere. What we have to do is to make sure that we are not going to cross the planetary boundaries and understand the limitations. And to do this, we have to understand what is the strategic role that research and development plays on understanding where the limitations are. Many of the policymakers do not understand what is the sustainability limit on water, what is the sustainability limit on atmosphere, and less than that, what are the sustainability ecological boundaries on the issue of soil. And that is what I would like to focus on this issue, on the topic. The level of R&D expenditure in 2018, this was a proposal that I gave to Lucrezia and Natalia in the beginning of 2019 and initiated it on behalf of NENA region. That's why the numbers are related to 2018. The level of expenditure on R&D increased by 4.14% and reached $2.19 all over the globe. And at the time, the global GDP was $105 trillion purchasing power parity. So it means that on average, the globe, the planet is spending like 2% of all of its GDP on soil, but then on research and development. And the rate of increase in research and development globally is higher than the rate of increase in the global GDP. And that is very, very important. It means that all over the globe, everyone is understanding that with the previous attitude and lifestyle and paradigms, we cannot continue to the future. They are putting more money on research and development. And how is it going to connect to what we have to do with soil in NENA region? Here I have included a table of how much of the global research and development belongs to different countries. You see North America, 27%, United States alone, 25%, and then we reach the region down here, Middle East, 2.5% is the rate of research and development relative to our GDP. The only region which is spending less than us is Africa. And that is not a proper place for a region, first, which is rich, and second is in the most level of risk relative to the changes that we are facing in the future. And here is another important graph. The blue countries, the blue countries are related to North America. Asia is yellowish, and then Middle East and North Africa is in green. You see the size of the spheres show the amount of money that we spend on R&D, and then on the horizontal axis, you see the level of expenditure relative to, as a percentage of the GDP. So look at here, we have only one country right here, which is spending 4%. Then we go down, Qatar is doing better. Then we see Iran, Egypt. So the relative percentage of the money that we spend on R&D is quite low. And then what is the number of researchers that we have? Per 1,000 population of the country, you see that we have a country like Finland, which has 7,500 scientists per 1,000, per 100,000, per 1 million people. So that is close to basically 7,500 in 1 million people. And then why we are down here in the lowest levels, it is not that we don't have, we are exporting many of our scientists. And the reason that we are doing it, because we are not spending on the research and development. What I am suggesting and what I had suggested to Lucrezia and Natalia was using the international possibilities of support, in particular related to future externalities that we are going to face, in particular related to climate change, and get support to activate the research and development in our countries on a regional basis and keep our scientists back home. For example, in the US, many of the scientists I'm sure are going from Tunisia, from Morocco, from Iran, from Egypt, from Syria, from Iraq. And if we strengthen the research and development basis, that would be a very good issue. And there are potentials in the international facilities that we can get. And how is it going to be related to soil? Some important questions. These are some of the questions that I have asked. How well we have utilized the created knowledge and science related to soil. There is a lot of knowledge within GSP, not only within within FAO, then within GSP, and within the GSP NENA. How well we are utilizing the created knowledge. How are we providing access to the created knowledge? How are we avoiding repetitive research and development? And by repetitive, I mean, do I know when I'm conducting a research that Talal is not doing it in his labs? Or, for example, Iman is doing it in Baghdad? Or let's look at it in a wider scale, or someone else is doing it in Europe and going back to our countries. When I'm doing a research in my university, am I sure that no one else is doing that research in another university in my own country or in another institutions? The money and resources are limited, and we have to avoid repetitive research. And that requires a database which can connect the researchers and scientists together and put the limited resources on the priorities. So that's why I have mentioned here that we need to add synergy. And we have to guide directed and newly allocated research budgets to prioritized areas. And one such very, very important priority is soil nexuses. In many areas, people are doing something on water which affects soil. We are doing something on soil which is affecting energy, which is affecting climate change. We have to recognize what are the new and pioneering areas of research related to soil. And one very important area is soil nexuses. And then I would like to refer to a very interesting paper that I found, a soil science renaissance. It says that 1% of the global R&D expenditure is related to soil alone. And I just said $2.5 trillion was spent on research, which means $25 million a year. And then 10 years of that would be $250 billion. 40 years of that, $1 trillion. If we create And that is soil alone, not soil nexuses. There are a lot of interrelated research that we can access. If there is, in the past, let's say 20 years, there is $500 billion worth of research related to soil alone. Are we aware of that wealth? Or have we devised a mechanism or a tool to use that wealth of knowledge which is there, which only for 20 years is $500 billion that we cannot get from anywhere? And then there is another important issue. There is an estimate that each paper published on soil, on average in the OECD region, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, is costing $200,000. So if we get that kind of access, directed and coordinated, well-organized DSS on research and development, it is as if we are using, by each paper, we are using like $200,000 that we are getting free of charge. And then there is also another issue related to FAO, and an internal review, an external review of FAO in 2007 has made FAO reach the conclusion that FAO is in crisis and has very few areas that it is in a leading position. And soil is one of them. And here is an increasing trend in basically interest in Human Development Index. Prior to 2000, you don't see any reference to soil. But from 2000, you see that the number of references is increasing. This is also an important issue, that these are the trends. We have to look at the trends which are there already in the research and development. And then I suggested creating a soil science and research and development database. The proposal is there. I will request that Lucrezia kindly share that proposal with all of the members in NENA region and get your opinion. What I will do here, I will go very rapidly through some of the aspects of the proposal in technical terms that I have provided. First of all, I have integrated all of the aspects of the proposal to the current FAO activities. So for example, in the goals and activities, I have included the elements which relate to soil and soil nexuses research and development and science. And these are the pages. I will not bother reading the details for you. These are goals and activities. Again, continuation of goals and activities. You will have access to the PowerPoint. So you will look at it. It is organized, for example, here on activities, we have access to existing soil research and development initiatives and all over in different organizations that we have encouraged nexus, inter and transdisciplinary research and development. What are the sub-categories of that activity, and highlighting return on investment in soil research and development. The externalities of human activities on not only on water and climate change, on soil too, is imposing a lot of cost on societies. And that is a very interesting area that we have to show what is the cost benefit analysis on the activities on soil preservation and soil research and development. If by soil research and development we reduce effectively and economically these externalities, that is going to be quite an achievement. And then developing active collaboration between research bodies and other stakeholders. And I have mentioned that in the beginning of this activity, that I hope we can get the proper support for that. We will focus first on collaboration in NENA region between scientists, research institutions, and countries in NENA region, and further move it forward. And what are the areas of research? Again, I will not go into details. Elements of VGSSM is one area that I have included. Then SDGs, Sustainable Development, climate change related as item 3, and item 4 on GSP pillars, and item 5 on soil nexus. For example, soil and water, soil and energy. For example, on soil and energy, there is a great potential of taking emissions, CO2 emissions from the power sector and converting it into organic carbon and sequestering it inside soil. So this is a very interesting area for soil and environment, soil and ecosystem, soil and food, soil and farming, soil and health, soil and society, soil and economy. There are a lot of nexus areas. Then on the technology and architecture and technology, and also on the technologies that we have to use in such a database. I have included that in the proposal and I will share it. Then on the issue of climate change task force that we created last time that we met in Cairo. If you remember, we created a climate task force, and I would like to request all of the distinguished representatives from other NENA countries that we activate this climate task force. And one very important issue for that is MRV, measuring, reporting, and verifying of greenhouse gas emissions. But this MRV, measuring, reporting, and verifying, how can it be applied to soil? The guideline that has been created so far in FAO is focusing only on one element of MRV, and that is not going to be quite beneficial or useful for uptaking the activity of MRV on soil, not only in NENA region, but also elsewhere. So what I'm suggesting is the following. MRV has 3 components. First one is MRV of emissions. And as unfortunately, I missed a part of Atiya's presentation, but I'm sure she had done quite a good job from what I know from her previous work in previous meetings that we have done. She had worked basically, I think, on emissions issues and also on mitigation actions. But from the $100 billion a year at a minimum cost, support that has been approved in COP21, 50% of that is for mitigation and 50% of that is going to be for adaptation. And on adaptation, there are 2 main pillars. First is water, the second one is agriculture. And agriculture has all the things to do with soil and water. And that is why, as Mohammed mentioned, we have to go after co-benefit projects between adaptation and mitigation. So on the second type of the MRV, the first type of MRV is related to emissions, where the emissions occur. So for that, we need a measuring, reporting, and verifying system. How can we do mitigation actions? How can we reduce the emissions? That is the second kind of MRV, measuring, reporting, and verifying system that we need. There is a third type of MRV. Where is the support? And what type is the support? Who is providing the support? Is it a reliable and correctly spent support? So there is a measuring, reporting, and verifying system needed for the support in climate change issues. What I'm suggesting, we activate our climate task force, work on the MRV system, focus, as Atiya mentioned, on where we have the emissions, how can we mitigate them? An FAO report showed that 24% of all of the greenhouse gas emissions comes from the agricultural value chain. So there is potential for mitigation. There is much more potential for adaptation, both in water and soil, and we can work on the nexuses of soil and water, and we can get much more. So if we work on the co-benefits which are there between soil and other elements, and between adaptation and mitigation, and activate our MRV system not only on emissions, as was suggested in June 2nd and 3rd in the meeting that we had for GSP. It was a global meeting. We have to focus on MRV of emissions, MRV of mitigation actions, MRV of sequestration of carbon in soil, and MRV of support. And I have mentioned more details on what we can do on each of these. This PowerPoint will be distributed for all of you, and I will not take more of your time. Thank you very much for listening and your attention.
Many thanks, Bahram. So again, I open the floor for questions, suggestions, and remarks. So basically under Pillar 3, we have two proposals. The first one referred to the establishment of a regional but also global database on research and development. On this, I really have to apologize with Bahram because yes, this is something we started to discuss already last year, and that I kindly ask my colleague at the GSP in charge of Pillar 3 to please follow up and work on. The main problem is that we are undernumbered in terms of staff, so that she really didn't have the time to develop the system. So my proposal for this is that we actually include it maybe in the proposal we had in Pillar 1, so we can work on sustainable soil management, putting a component on the need to have this database, so we can include it in that proposal, get more labor force, and then bring it forward. I'm very sorry that we couldn't develop it further, Bahram, so far. And then the second proposal for Pillar 3 is to activate the task force we established last year on climate change and focus on MRV, looking at the components that Bahram mentioned in his presentation. So these are the two proposals. Do you have any suggestions, or you agree on these proposals? Any remarks? There's also experience.
Yes.
Please.
Yes, this is Muhammad Salam from FAO Yemen. I think, no, I'm not a specialist, but I feel that, the presentation was very good and powerful, and really, it is very important in the course of, providing a kind of evidence-based, information that is supporting this, soil issue and linking soil and water. The only thing is that I just wanted to mention is maybe, I don't know whether it was discussed before or not, is the issue of the use of GIS, system within this, especially in relation to the soil classification, and also linking this information into water, which is very critical, as our region is water scarce, very much, and also how we can turn this information into a kind of advisory system that can be really supporting farmers in this kind of aspect. So this was just my comment. Thank you.
Okay, Lucrezia, should I respond?
Yes, please. Meanwhile, I'm taking notes.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, a very important issue raised by Mohammed. Thank you very much. Yes, the structure of database is quite detailed and sophisticated. GIS is definitely there, and different layers of the Nexus data is going to be there. More than that, the importance of standardization and harmonization of the related data is there. So this research database definitely should be connected to that standardized and harmonized database on the Nexus layers, which is currently an initiative between FAO and IASA, International Institute for Applied Systems Analysis, which is in Luxembourg, Austria. A very good activity is going to continue there. I am somehow connected to that activity, and we need to connect this research and development issue on soil and also on climate change issue, the climate task force. Definitely, we need to develop that nexus layers of the resources, primary resources, secondary resources, and the human layer of resources, and the interactions inside an element, for example, inside water, between surface water and groundwater, between fresh water and brackish and saline water, between water and other resources, for example, soil and energy, between these primary resources and secondary resources like environment, ecosystem, and then between these two layers and the third layer, which is the human layer, social issues, economic issues, and political issues. So all of these interlinkages should be there. And today we have the computational capacity and the speed to be able to analyze all of these interlinkages if the architecture of the database is designed properly and smartly, including GIS, of course.
Yeah, Nicolas, can I ask a question here?
Saud, do you want to talk?
Yeah, if you allow me.
Please.
Okay, thank you very much. I just have, just an, we can say proposal. Can we initiate something like, we call it regional knowledge platform on soil?
Yes. Yeah. First of all, Salaam alaikum, Saud. Nice to hear your voice after almost 2 years.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Bahram, we lost you. I think we have connection problems. Mohammed, I see your hands up. Do you want to say something?
Yes, please. I just want to thank Dr. Tahiri for this excellent presentation. 2 points quickly. I don't want to take a lot of time. One of them is the issue of cost benefit, which is a very important issue. But the problem, Dr. Tahiri, you know that we are really missing the issue of economic assessment of the natural resources as a whole. For example, we don't know really the value economically of the biodiversity and the ecosystem services, including soil and water and so on. So I think to start with, I think this is something we are really having, we are trying to do. Just very close to that one, our climate change, is the regional office for the Near East and North Africa, where I'm working here. We are doing an economic assessment of the impact of climate change on agriculture and the cost of adaptation. We're trying to really have a dollar sign in front of that one to say, listen, if you don't really look at the impact of climate change, this is how much you will be losing. And if you wanted to do adaptation measure or a mitigation measure, this is how much it will cost you. The second point quickly also, you know, the MRV is also a process globally done after Paris Agreement. And I think the role now for the agriculture experts in every country, and especially also the soil experts, we're talking about soil now, to really get involved with the national committees, that they prepare the MRV report that will be submitted, because this is where now your voice will be heard. And this is where your concern will be addressed. If you are sitting there, we'll talk only here among each other. Nothing will go to the policymakers. Nothing will go to the implementation part. So MRV in each country, there is a process that, like NDCs and so on and so forth, that really can do that. So it is our role now as soil experts to make sure that the soil concern will be reflected in that MRV. Then this voice will be heard. Thank you.
Addition to his point, to Mohammed Abdulmain's point, we can add land degradation, aspect to be measured as one of the climate change, effect, and also we can say socio-economic and land cover change detection. It gives us how value the problem is in the region. So we can asking for a fund for climate change effect on the region.
We lost Bahram, but I'm taking notes. So to include the socio-economic aspects and also the cost of adaptation in the proposal on climate change. Any further remarks? I'm sorry that Bahram cannot rebut. Rafla, you have a hand up? We cannot hear you.
She's muted.
Yeah, I see. Can you unmute yourself? If not, Philip,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can. Did you hear me, please?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I thanks Mr. Tari, but I would like to deal about this, the collaboration between development and research. And I tell you that we had many collaboration in Tunisia to develop the needs of development and what thematic need to be developed and needed by development and needed to be developed by research. And especially the most important aspect is the impact of sustainable soil management on soil and how sustainable soil management can improve the properties and characteristics of soil. But the problem is that the duration of research activity is too short, the scale of intervention and the duration, because usually the activity of research is the master activity by student or PhD, as the duration of master cannot allow the monitoring of the impact of SSM on soil properties. This impact need to be monitored on 5 or more years, but the duration is too small. And also the scale of intervention. Usually research activity are leaded on small parcels which not are representative of all area. So this is what you think to make observatory that and to develop activity, how to follow and to evaluate the impact of SSM on soil. Other thing, this is the most problem for collaboration between development and research. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafla. A solution to these issues that you raised, I think, can be to actually write a project proposals in which we don't focus only on research activities, but we mix it up with also like the development of tools or like something that really leads to immediate concrete products, so that we can have maybe a 2 phases project, and then we grant like a longer period of implementation of research activities, so that we give a project result to the donors during the first phase while implementing the research activities, and during the second phase we do the monitoring of the research activity. So we keep on getting money on this. If you all agree, or if you have better proposals, I don't know.
Look, Raisen, in addition to Rafla, what she said, it is R&D program can be implemented in an on-farm trial directly in the farm. Okay, so no need to split it in a matter of socio-economic, no need to split it as a research and development. When we merge it together on the farmer field, we can get all the results and data we needed, and we can also evaluate R&D project.
sorry, I was muted. Okay, noted. Thank you, Saud. And then maybe during the project presentation, we can review to it and discuss it. Any other remark on pillar 3? If not, we quickly move to pillar 4 and 5. Okay, I don't see any hands up. Rashid, the pillar 4, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Lucrezia. Hello, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. I will try to share my screen if it's possible. I don't know if I have the hand on or not.
Screen already.
Okay, is 1 minute. Share this.
Rashid, it is shared, but no presentation is shown.
Please, 1 minute, I will just. Sorry for this. You saw it?
Yes, now yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
So, my friends, so this presentation is to show the update of the pillar 4 in our region. So, as you know, we have in this pillar 4 something that's very important, what we call it now INSI, which is the International Network of Soil Information Institute, where many of institutions from NENA region was also involved in this issue. They are invited to the meeting that we organized recently to discuss how we can enhance the quality and availability of soil data and information. Just to link with my colleagues, Braham, who just said that we need information and data on soil and also other parameters. We have now a good network, as you know, and we have also this good collaboration and support from ITPS, and I will show some results we have developed under this work package. So the activity in NENA, you know that our countries continue to improve their national soil organic carbon maps, and some training was organized recently thanks to GSP, Lucrezia, and colleagues to support us to develop and to have this training while we have some, to raise funding and other issues. But the last one held in Tunisia, and also give some support to our partners in how to develop salt-affected soil mapping. What is good is also some interesting work developed with colleagues on mapping soil salt-affected. This technical manual are available. Maybe we need, if it's possible to say, we can translate some of them to French or to Arabic, that will be used by all partners. We have also developed salinity maps and technical manual. You have also global soil organic carbon maps. And this, I think this nice document about cookbook on soil organic carbon mapping, it's also could be very useful to our region. And as you know, we are more concerned with the soil, salt-affected soil. So this two manual is a guideline to country is very interesting as support for that. Capacity development, as I said, we have different capacity development. Some colleagues from the NENA already participate in many of them. As I said, digital soil mapping, global soil organic carbon mapping, and the last one is on soil salinity. So again, thanks to the support for Secretariat of GSP. For GLOSSIS, this is a global soil information system. There we are, it's can I say the main issue that we have to work on it. There is some support now done by our colleagues from Pillar 4, Youssef and all partners in the global in the GSP, and there is sharing knowledge very important, and why we need glosses. You know that mandate of GSP is to improve the governance of limited soil resources. And we need in the Pillar 4 to enhance the quality, as I said, because we have information, but the quality and availability sometimes is missing. It's important that we enhance the development of an authoritative global soil system to monitor and forecast the condition of earth soil resources. So it's, as I said, it's more linked to my colleague Baram from Iran said about this nexus and the need of information. I think this is something very important that we can develop it for our region too. And on poor countries and other data providers to develop their national soil information system as a center for national soil information. So it's important that we try to enhance the capacity of our institutions in NENA region. Why we need to develop this? Why we run this? Can I say GLOSIS or can I say NENASIS? We need to strengthen national capacity on soil information, make soil information fundable, accessible, interpretable, within countries to inform local and national policies decisions. It's very important because now someone can ask how many hectares are under soil salinity problem. So you have to answer. If not, you will say, oh no, we have some old data or outdated data, or so it's not useful for decision makers. You need some data and some data updated, and make national data compatible and accessible with other data resources. You know why? Because now with this international convention that we have, example, climate change or desertification or biodiversity, all those conventions need such as data, and this data is very important to answer. If not, you know what happened? Sometime we ignore soil resources because we don't have data of it, or we estimate, and this is what we do, and we estimate using some data from other regions, which is not true for our situation. Save time and money by harmonizing data and storage and exchange is very important. I will not go through all, but I think we need to improve the visibility of this national soil information system, and also to enhance the usability, because it's good to develop system, but this system should be used also, not to develop it and keep it somewhere. To support international and national scientific research, as we just heard from my colleague in Pillar 3, and to address transboundary issues, which is, you know, if we discuss now desertification, it's not a matter of one country, it's for whole region. If we discuss about soil salinity, it's not only one country, but for the whole region. So it's important to introduce some phenomena are local, but also are regional, and to contribute to more consistent and accurate global soil data products. You know that if we want to raise funding, this is a very important issue. If you want to raise funding in soil resources or soil research or soil conservation, you need to show that this soil are very important in you know, achieving SDGs. As we, you know, there is under UN many SDGs that are related to soil, and we need to show that if we, as my colleague from Egypt say, we put some dollar in this issue, we will answer and we can save $10 or $20 or $100. But this, you need information and you need a global assessment for our region. So how do we build these glosses? This is just to share with you the last slide that we had just discussed in the meeting between work group and this pillar 4. So the glosses should be decentralized, not on one place, but it will be each country could have developed their system, but this should be federated. Also, it should be a system of system. This is why we need these glosses. It's important that you know that there is national ownership of it, which means that source institutions retain their data and control access. This is something that we discussed it last time. I remember we developed what we call it data policy for this issue. So it will be lightweight and affordable. Implementation is lightweight and cheap to deploy, samples, open source, because you know if you want now to buy a GIS system, at least you need 10,000 USD. But now if you work in open source, it's better and you don't need to pay for this issue. And should be also country driven, which means that we need that the country will use this system and should be a national soil information system. You know, this is the figure that show how we think to develop this system. I will not go to detail on that, but you have just to note that we will have some issues on capacity development. We need to develop some global data set. We will design and conceptual model, and also some resource mobilization is needed, you know, like TCP or other regional. And this is to have NENA assist. You know better than me that NENA started, if I remember, in 2014, a project to collect data in many countries. Colleagues here are more involved on that. I remember on this issue, but we still have to do some work to enhance this initiative that I think Talal and Mahmoud and others start doing a nice job, but we need now to try to complete this issue. Now we have this, as I said, glosses country-driven global data set. We have developed this global soil organic carbon. We have this global soil salinity maps. We have soil organic carbon sequestration. We have also something about black soil and others. I think here there is some issues that we are working on under the group 4 to give some deliverable. It's a long-term and short-term goal for this issue. So to help countries to organize and to share their data now, you have to know that we are trying to create a platform that increase the fundability of data. We call it Glossis 1. But for long-term, we want to develop a fully functional system with harmonized data sources, storage and exchange with several plugs and using standards. And we call it Glossis 2.0. So there is some work to do, to be done to achieve these goals in short and long term. Just give you an example. This is something that you can find in the website of GSP, that you can already test and look on this demo about using this is a map of global soil organic carbon that's already developed and how you can extract data from it. Just in this issue, we in October, one year before, organized and we participate to one meeting with the Arab fertilizer industry to show this issue on data and why we need to develop this information system. So we are looking to raise funding with some industrial, because you know it's not only matter of ministries, private sector could be also interested on that. I share this map that developed by my colleague Talal and teams, but we show this issue, and many participants was interested on that. So during this meeting, many of our colleagues from NENA was there, and they present some information about their country. We also was interested to this international network on salts affected soil, which is important, which means that there is some need to develop this data, and this network normally should have some data on this issue. So there is need to develop this soil salinity mapping. You know that this mainly concerning the marginal environment. So we will work, I think, with ICBA and all partners here to develop this insights. Another issue is, I think, important to share what we know in our region with other partners. So just here we show that we organize one meeting about soil fertility mapping with some sub-Saharan African Caribbean countries that are in South-South cooperation. I think this is some issue very important in terms of sharing knowledge, you know, for this issue. So thank you very much for your attention.
Many thanks, Rashid. Actually, these complement the information I already gave you yesterday on Pillar 4. Many thanks for that. Is there any comment or remark or suggestion to what Rashid presented? Again, I would like to encourage those of you that do not have a representative in INSEE to please nominate someone to serve as your representative in this important network. Yesterday, I sent you an email with like a summary of the actions to take regarding the presentation I gave. And in there, you find the link to make your submission for the nomination of the experts in INSEE, but also for the preparation of the soil organic carbon sequestration map. Again, my colleague Yusuf, you have the email address of my colleague in that email, is in charge of glosses. As Rashid mentioned, we are really pushing on the establishment of this national soil information system first. I know that some of you already have a national information system in place. So please, in that case, make sure that it's actually compatible and can be connected to the global system we are establishing. And if you have any question or remark, please, this is the time to talk. Again, you can take the floor. Yes, Saud.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks to Rashid. Yeah, I'm just proposing, rather, I mean, we build up and create soil organic carbon map, salt affected soil map, and so on. Can we add to that? Can we add to that? I mean, another 3 or 4 maps, like for example, soil health map. This one map, like suitability map. In other words, I just call it soil health map. Second map I'm proposing, which is soil investment map, which is going to, I mean, pull up for us, I mean, some funding, and it will give some countries some opportunities and easy way to invest where and how.
So can you please name them again? So one is on investment.
Soil health map. Okay. This we call it, I just call it modern name, soil health card. It's actually land suitability map, but soil health map, it's more dealing more, not with classification, dealing more with soil ingredients, soil analysis. As you mentioned, you have black soil map and you have soil organic carbon map. So we have another ingredient on soil, which is important in agriculture investment. So the other map, I'm calling that soil investment map. That one will, this kind of map will let investor, either national or regional or international. It looks like a guide to them where to invest in any country in the MENA region.
So let me comment to it. Maybe also Rashid want to comment to it. The soil health map, I think, is a derived map. So we need to develop all the other maps first, and then we process the information on soil quality that relates to carbon, salinity, pH, EC, so on. And then you can get these maps. So maybe this is for the future. I don't think we can do it now because we are already working a lot on producing the other national maps. But maybe Rashid, you can also add to it. Maybe we go map by map.
Okay, thank you, Saud, for your nice question. Sorry, I have problem with my camera. That's why I
okay.
So sorry for that. So your point is very important. I think, as Lucrezia said, soil health map. You know that this soil health approach is mainly something that we are now trying to develop around the world. But soil health map you need to have soil health indicators, and for
yes.
developing that. You need to measure many parameters, you know, as Lucrezia said, soil organic carbon, pH, and
we can say physical and chemical,
and chemical, and some biological now. Now the main issue on soil health is biological, and those parameters are not, unfortunately, so easy to collect. But
yeah.
You can derive it from if we can have as we do for other parameters, we can say if we can use beta transfer function and so on. But it's good as initial idea. Maybe our colleague in pillar 3 have to think on this and to set up a research action on that. We can discuss it and we can develop some parameter for that, and we can develop some case study. We are glad that we have also Talal here. He is someone who can support and help his researcher in his way of thinking. Maybe it could be something very interesting to show to other country and other region. For soil invest map, I think this is more connected to what you said before, soil suitability. You know, I am an investor and they want to invest. My question, where I will put my money for which crop, if this crop is suitable or not, and also in terms of biophysical, but also you need to have some data on economy and
yes, yeah.
You know, with market, it's market driven. This is something that we, for example, we have one experience in Morocco about this soil suitability. But the issue of if you come to do agroeconomy study and business plan, this is another layer that you need to have some some skills with some agroeconomists in your team to do this study, which is too dynamic. But it's also interesting. I think developing some case study on this issue is very interesting and very important. Why not to say with our colleagues from Pillar 3 and to put it as a research action for our region. Why not?
Okay.
I stop here.
Rashid, most of the maps you are producing, or I mean, in this pillar, we are producing, I mean, a vector map or raster map. Sorry, I'm very technical.
No, it's you know, if most of them, it's not. We are not the one who developed this. You know, it's more the country developing. For example, soil organic carbon. It's coming from the countries, and countries share the data with GSP. You know, we show, we do training to colleagues how they can develop this. And by the end, under the system that you, for example, the one that I show of soil organic carbon, global soil organic carbon, it's you can look on it. It's under raster system because you know it's too huge data for the whole world. It just you collect, for example, for your country, you can find the data. You just zoom and you want to collect. You will find some megabytes, and this is too much. That's why we put it in raster system. But you know that data are at national level where it's more a vector. So it's more country driven, as I said.
Okay. Okay. Good luck.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
But just one answer, for example, for Sudan, who develop a good soil information system, their data, some of them are a vector. So if you can also look on it in vector system. So it depends of the product. But if it's global, you couldn't put it in vector format. You use it in raster format.
Yeah, you know why I'm asking this? Because in case of prediction map, so we have to use, I mean, raster map rather than vector map, which is easy for modeling, easy for manipulating, yeah, and easy for updating. Because the vector map, it can be drawn once. Yeah.
So I took a note that we can develop some case studies on this, and as Rashid just mentioned, my suggestion is that maybe if we want to include this in a project proposal, so if someone is volunteering already, we can maybe ask countries that already have a national soil information system in place to do it, because they are supposed to have data, this type of data already. For a global product, we need to do harmonization. That's why
Yes.
my colleagues at the GSP are putting so much efforts in trainings and really data from the different countries.
Sorry, can I intervene, please?
Yes, please, Al Mubarak.
Yeah, it's yeah. We are always giving raster maps. Is a system we use. We displayed on the net in our side the vector maps. But when we are dealing with clauses for soil organic carbon or for soil salinity maps or so, we deliver them in a GeoTIFF format that could be usable with other systems, that you can combine them with other national system. So internationally, you can use them together. This is the way it should be. You can, in fact, you can produce so many maps by this way, physical, chemical maps, soil property maps, as you see, pH map, texture map, soil pH, calcium carbonate content, soil texture, and we can produce also soil stress maps like erosion maps, like salinity and acidity map. You can also produce soil condition maps like available water or soil fertility, what has been mentioned by our colleague from Saudi Arabia, that we could use for soil fertility maps that could be for investors that they can use it. And all they can be displayed in both formats as raster or vector. The raster one is always used if you are going to give it to someone who can use it with other disciplines as a GeoTIFF format or raster. Thank you.
Many thanks, Al Mubarak. I see a hands up from Maki. Maki, please.
Yes. Good morning to all. Just to, I would like to, in this important pillar of data and information, what could be also of importance is to consider a monitoring level, not just a one-shot situation maps, but a kind of like repeated in a regular time. Yeah. Mapping of situation that can support a decision making. This need definitely to go with, of course, data collection, which has to be done in regular geographic and coverage, as well as timing. It has also to go with institutional responsibilities. We should do that monitoring of soils, and then as well methodologies for monitoring, and one of the more and key important elements in how this information can lead to decisions on the soil management, on sustainable soil management. So that should be embedded into this process, the full process of making the good decision for sustainable soil management in the countries. Just food for thought.
Thank you, Maki. Please note that we are receiving comments also by chat that you might want to keep into consideration.
Yeah, you are right. Just to answer Maki, you are right. In fact, you know, when you develop, for example, soil organic carbon map, it's something that dynamic. It change. That's why, yeah, and also soil fertility mapping also. That's why I give example in case of Morocco, while we finish this soil fertility mapping, we do a contract, some private companies to provide some data updated, you know, that you can fill again to the system to be, you know, that your system should be updated. If not, what you prepare in terms of map for phosphor 2 or 3 years after, they will change. That's why I'm agree with you. We should have some responsibilities of who will feed the information and so on. But my concern is, you know, in NENA region, we still need to to work together to develop this NENA SIS or soil information system for our countries and our region. We can start, there is some countries that are already some support, like Sudan developed this with the FAO, but we can develop the similar for other countries. But at least we need to fill gaps and to develop some standard soil information system. And I think we could do it. I'm sure that we could do it because we have enough capacity and also support from GSP in this issue.
Yes, many thanks. I'm a bit concerned about time. So if you agree, we move to Pillar 5, and I give the floor to the chair of the NENA Soil Laboratory Network for his presentation. This presentation is actually just for your information because decisions about NENA Lab are made by members of the network, of the NENA Soil Laboratory Network. Just a note on Pillar 5. Well, maybe Rashid, can you give just a few? I think you are also a member of the working group on Pillar 5, right? On the other components of the pillar.
Yes. Due to time, I reduced my presentation on this issue, but you know that there is many connection between Pillar 4 and Pillar 5. We now try to develop this network on as we just Maki said, how we can update our maps if we have the good harmonization method, and also we can collect some information on soil analysis that we can feed our system. It will be good, and that in this issue we'll try to see how this harmonizing database and the approach could be support this developing of soil information system in terms of quality and as I said and harmonization. And with our colleagues also, we try to develop a paper spectroscopy lab, which is very important issue that can help us to have some method. Yesterday, if you remember, we just give some word on this. But under this, I think my colleagues, Zouahri, Dr. Zouahri, he will start doing some interesting job in this issue of harmonizing data and method used in laboratories in our region. So maybe I stop here to give the floor to my colleague.
Yes, indeed, the chair of NENA Lab is again from Morocco. So I would like to give the floor to Mr. Abdelmajid Zouahri. Abdelmajid, you would share your screen, right? No, wait, we will play it for you if I remember well. Filippo, can you please play the presentation? Thank you.
Yes, good morning, everybody. Do you hear me? It's okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, okay. So it's a great honor for me to represent NENA lab in this interesting meeting. I will, in this presentation, I will give you an overview about our meeting where we have established our network. It's the same presentation, relatively the same has been done in the Glossoland meeting. So the next, please. Okay, so the meeting was organized by the Global Soil Partnership and Glossoland, and 82 experts from 44 laboratories have attended this meeting from different countries. The nearest and North Africa Soil Laboratory Network aims to facilitate the exchange of experiences among national reference soil laboratories through strengthening the performance of laboratories through use of standardized methods and protocols, harmonizing of soil analysis results so that soil information would be comparable and interpretable across laboratories, countries, and regions. So next, please. So I have also to mention that this, due to COVID-19, this meeting was held in virtual. So the objective of the first NENA Lab meeting was to establish the regional network and its governance, agree on the activities to implement in the region in 2020 as per the work plan of Glossoland, collect regional inputs on Glossoland work. Next, please. So how was organized the meeting? So the meeting was organized into 3 sessions. The first one was dedicated to the presentation of Glossoland activities and objectives and the presentation of each laboratory participating in the meeting. They have tried to express their status, needs and expectation regarding Glossoland and the implementation of the NENA Lab. The second session of the meeting consists of training session on internal and external quality control, health and safety. In the last session, participants discussed and agreed on the 2020 and 2021 work plan of NENA Lab, the position of NENA Lab in Glossoland, and elected the chair and the vice chairs. Please, next. So concerning the status of participating laboratories, so participants from different countries has the opportunity to present their laboratory, like their laboratory facilities, laboratory staff, areas improvement, and also they express their expectation from Glossoland in order to improve and their laboratories and their way of doing their analysis. So the next, please. So the training session was divided into 2 sessions. The first one was dedicated to external quality control, and the trainers was Mr. Robert De Heyer and Mr. Christian Hartmann. So they talk us about how to prepare quality control samples and their use within laboratories activities, external quality control, especially proficiency testing, how to organize, and because we are newly established and recently established, so we have to be introduced to this network and to this organization, and how taking benefit from the other networks that they have also done this work, and they will and they are really prepared, well prepared for this. So we have to learn from them many things, and we count on Glossoland to support us in this task. The second session was on health and safety. So the trainer was Miss Hanan Arwi from R&D France. So it was about laboratory safety, hazard, and risk prevention. Next, please. So about the position of NENA Lab in Glossoland. So Miss Lucretia has introduced participant to Glossoland and has asked them for their opinion on the standard operating procedures that Glossoland should work on harmonizing in 2020 and 2021, and the identification of regional leaders. In addition to the SOPs which are already on the agenda of Glossoland, NENA Lab proposed the network to work also on the following SOPs, like texture and coarse fraction by pipette methods and hydrometers, dry wall density, total heavy metals, CFC by ammonium acetate, exchangeable bases, titration by EDT, exchangeable basis by flame photometer, available mechanism. And in this concern, we have designated the person or the team in charge for each kind of SOPs who will work together in order to succeed this mission. The next, please. So additionally, participants identified other methods, the needs to harmonize other methods, like, for example, boron in soil extract by chloramine method, total boron, hot water extract. This kind of analysis, especially these two, are not commonly used in many laboratories, but they are very important, especially in terms of how to advise farmers about fertilizers, especially for a specific kind of crops. So, and many laboratories express their needs to harmonize these methods. That's why they raise it in our discussion. Also, chloride and sulfide in soil extract, soil water retention curve, and soil aggregates stability. Also, the participant expressed the needs to update the FAO, the guidelines of the FAO Soils Bulletin 74. And I think also this question has been discussed in the Glossoland meeting, and it has taken a very crucial place. And I think that the update of these guidelines are in the agenda of the next year. Next, please. In the governments, in the aspects of government, so the participant elect the chair and of NENA Lab and the vice chair, and I am honored to be the chair of NENA Lab. Also, Mr. Ala Khalouf from Syria was elected as a vice chair of NENA Lab for the nearest sub-region, and Ms. Hannah Nabil from Morocco was nominated as a vice chair for the North Africa sub-region. The next, please. So in the end of our meetings, so due to the world pandemic, the first NENA Lab meeting has been organized virtually. This allowed all the participants to be more confident with the powerful tool of video meetings. Both advantages and disadvantages have been reported by the participants, especially, for example, when we have to deal in some areas when we have a bad connection of internet. So this problem has been raised. But finally, all the participants agreed, the majority proposed to continue organizing NENA Lab meeting online in order to allocate resources for trainings and other areas of improvement, such as equipment and training. So I think that it's the end, and thanks for your attention.
Many thanks for your presentation, Abdelmajid. Indeed, this presentation was also given to the Glossolan meeting we had last week, so with all members from all the world, and the ultimate decisions on the SOPs to harmonize next year was made. So we will prepare the report of that meeting and send it to you for information, so that you know actually what is the position of Glossolan and the future activities of the network as well. If there is any question about NENA Lab and Glossolan, please ask them also through the chat.
There is an hands up from Syria.
Yes.
شغل مكيف بند المكيف وشغل مروحه.
I didn't understand anything. Sorry. Is there a question? Yes, please.
Question. Thank you, Abdel Majid, for your presentation. But I have a question. In Syria, we were promised to send soil samples to our country, to our dams, and I'm to harmonize the methods and for quality control. So my question, when will you send these samples to start our works?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear well, but I think you asked about the proficiency testing, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But about the organization of the proficiency test for this year, 2020?
Yes, I think it's, yes, it's dealing with this aspect.
Yeah, so this year we had to cancel the proficiency testing because of COVID. Laboratories were closed, they could not prepare the samples for us to send to other laboratories, and the laboratories we wanted to send the samples to were closed as well. So the PT for this year was canceled, and we will try to organize another one in 2021, again, if COVID allows.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm very sorry for this.
Thank you, okay, thank you.
Is there any other question?
Yes, please.
Yes, please, Fatma.
Yes, please. Yes, I need to stress on boron test, because we found that it has a very big effect on some crop, mainly olives in our countries. So boron test and the method of analysis, I stress on if there is any modification of the method or updated method for analysis, if there is possibility. I found that it's very important for olive, for instance. And we need to stress on the method of analysis if there is any alternative method of the existing ones.
Well, the decision on the methods to harmonize next year is already was already made by Glossolan last week. In terms of boron, the network agreed to harmonize the
in leaves and in soil, if there is possibility.
Sorry?
In leaves analysis and in soil.
Leaves, no, we just deal with soil.
You deal with soil only?
Yes, no leaves. Yeah. And in soil, we will work on boron by hot water.
Azomatine methods. As far as we know, azomatine method, if there is any alternative methods that can be applied or what.
Yeah, but Glossolan made a decision last week after a big discussion, and they decided to start to work on boron by hot water extraction. So this decision cannot be changed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
If we can,
Thank
but then, you know, Glossolan is aiming to harmonize a set of methods for each parameters. We start from 1 or 2, and then we expand, and we aim to harmonize as many methods as possible. So maybe you can make the proposal to NENA Lab again next year, so that we bring it to Glossolan attention, and hopefully they will accept your proposal for the method.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question or remark? Okay, I'm very sorry we are late on time. I'm kindly asking you if you can stay a bit longer, especially colleagues from FAO country offices. If you can stay a bit longer, and we introduce you to the project, the TCP project on soil. So I would like to give the floor to the LTO for this project, Mr. Abdelhamid Hamid. So Abdelhamid, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lucrezia. Good afternoon, good morning to those in the Maghreb. I don't know what it's, and I'm very pleased to be with you today. After a long time, I recalled where I was in the first inception meeting of the regional partnership in Amman, Jordan. And I can see a number of faces who attended that meeting are still carrying with them the case of soil and still fighting for soil. This is very great. Can I share my screen now? Yes, here.
Sure, please.
I'd like to introduce the TCP project, which has just been approved. And in this junction, I would like to acknowledge the hard work done by Lucrezia and Ronald in HQ and the team here in RRE, Muhammad Abdel Munaim and Theodora in formulating this project and having it operational by FAO. To answer the question why we need this TCP project on soil, well, there are a lot of issues that the project would like to respond to. And it came as a response to, one of them is the low awareness of the importance of soil and the need for its sustainable management, conservation and sustainable management. And if we look to our natural resources, we'll see that the profile of soil in our country and the importance that policymakers giving to soil does not match its contribution. And this is one critical element. I think we need to work hard to raise the awareness about the importance of these resources at all levels, starting from the policymakers to down to the practitioners and down to the users. The project is also responding to the growing threat of soil degradation in this region. And I don't need to talk about this because as the Arabic say, we have the Arabic say, لا تبيع الماء في حارة السقايين يعني. You are all soil experts and you know the challenges of soil degradation, which eventually limits the soil capacity to provide ecosystem services and poses real threat to the food security in the region. The project is also came as a response to a call came from the joint meeting of the Arab Ministers of Agriculture and Water during the during the Land and Water Day here in Cairo last April 2019, where they call for establishing a sustainable regional mechanism to build individual and institutional capacity necessary to plan, design, and implement water and land management programs efficiently. And in the water side, there is R&D has a big water management project, which is, we call it the CEDA project, which involves almost all of the NENA countries. So this is the first soil project to be regional soil project to be supported by R&D. This is just some basic information about the project. The project covers 12 countries. They are listed here, all of them, that's the 12. And the start date is in last October, and it should end by May 2022. And with a total budget of $400,000. And I must say that for a TCP project, by FAO TCP project, this is a significant money, and it shows the importance that the organization is putting on in this project. what are the expected results from this project? The impact of this project is to improve the environmental and human well-being through sustainable management of soil resources in the region. It has one major outcome or result that that knowledge on soil conditions and management generated at regional and national levels is shared, and capacity of stakeholders in sustainable soil management practices and use of related tools enhanced. And to achieve this outcome, the project has 3 outputs and about 10 planned activities. The output number 1 is the understanding of the characteristic and the challenge of soil management in this region and to enhance this understanding. And there are 3 activities to achieve this output. The first one is undertaking a national assessment of soil condition. This should feed in a regional assessment and compilation of all national data. And then a regional national workshop to increase awareness on the status of soil in the region and the tools available to preserve and sustainably manage them. The second output is that related to the capacity building, and particularly national capacities for implementation of normative tools and sustainable management, sustainable soil management is to be enhanced through 3 activities, interrelated activities, by organizing a webinar on soil salinity and soil erosion assessment and management, through the work in supporting the regional laboratory workshops on regional laboratory under the framework of the Global Soil Laboratory Network, and building capacity of national reference laboratories. And I saw in the presentations from yesterday and today, there are still countries that have not identified their national reference laboratories. And I think they have to work hard to do that, because in order to benefit from this output and from the project in general. The third output is strengthening the regional and interregional collaboration on sustainable soil management. And among the activities which are to be organized is today's meeting, which is on the NENA Soil Partnership, and the next meeting will be supported by the project, and the project also will support the participation in the focal participation of the focal points in the 9th Soil Partnership Plenary. These are the planned activities, and I would like also in the discussion also to invite your suggestions if you feel that there are any essential activities that contribute to either of the 3 outputs that you can propose or we missed. You can highlight it in the discussion. The project the implementation is very simple, that this project is linked mostly with the ministries of agriculture in the 12 countries. So the implementation partners are mainly the Ministry of Agriculture, or any entity that designated by the Ministry of Agriculture as an implementing partner. The important also for any project is to look into the sustainability of its results from the beginning, from the onset, from the formulation. And in this project, there are a number of elements that were meant to ensure the sustainability of the results. Among them is that the focus in addressing soil salinity and soil physical degradation to enhance food nutrition and water security is a strong element for the sustainability of this project. The second one is that this project has a strong has a strong gender focus, and you have to observe in all the relevant workshops that to apply the gender sensitive to be gender sensitive and apply all the gender sensitive analytical tools throughout the implementation of the project whenever possible. The third sustainability element is that capacity building are driven by need assessment of different various groups identified during the implementation. The last, the fourth element of sustainability is that, and which is very important for all FAO project, is related to indigenous people, that this project does not intend to harm or affect the indigenous people rights or their lands, natural resources, or livelihoods, or culture. And the last element is that if we look at this project, it achieved to strive two major paradigm shifts. That the one is that the agricultural techniques should be incorporated with local knowledge. Where in any disseminated technology, it has to be a hybrid of agriculture techniques and local knowledge. Also, the project also will strengthen the institutional framework to establish multi-stakeholder and multi-sectoral mechanisms in order to produce wider change, and it opts to provide a pilot or model of integration and collaboration. And thank you very much for attention, and I would like to invite you your suggestions, your proposals, and in the implementation arrangement, in the project implementation, in its results. Unfortunately, the time is limited. We cannot present the work plan, but I'm sure that all of you have got the project document. Please give a look to the work plan.
Hello.
And if you have any comments on the work plan, please share it with. And thank you.
Many thanks, Abdel Hamid, for the informative presentation. Actually, I have to make a note that the project document, well, the national focal points that submitted the letter of support to the project received only the draft version of the project. The final version of the project document was not sent to them yet, because also from my side, the hierarchic procedure was not very clear. I think that we had to contact our FAO offices first, and then that they would have made the contact with the so eventually I can say, if you give me the clearance, I can send the
yeah, I think we need to send the project document to all FAO offices in the country, participating countries, so that to share it with the and copy the focal points.
But so like, can I send the document to the focal points?
Well, let us send it to the FAO office, and then they will share it with the ministries.
Okay, so the document was already sent.
Eventually, it will reach the focal points.
So the document was already sent to the country offices. Actually, we are getting information on the name of the colleagues at the country offices that will follow up on the project. So national focal point. So you participants will be contacted by the FAO country office on this.
Definitely, the country office should send should send it to the related ministries. I mean, you have the implementation partners are the ministries of the agriculture, and within the ministry it will reach the focal point, unless we have entities other than government institutions like NGOs or CBOs or whatever with us, that they could get it directly. Yeah, I don't know, from the country office. Yeah.
Okay, is it clear to all?
Can I add the comment?
Yeah.
Yes, Talal.
Actually, the FAO office in Beirut has already contacted the focal point and all the Lebanese team and forwarded the material about the project. We are aware of this now, and we thank you for the quick action.
Thanks, Talal.
Yes, we received it yesterday. We received it yesterday from Mrs. Solange as a draft.
Knowledge up to now, you are the only country that, well, the only focal points that receive it. But I'm at this call. There are also colleagues at FAO Man, FAO Palestine, FAO Tunisia, and let me see. That are joining, so they can also give us maybe an update on the status of information to the national focal points. Mohammed, I see you have a hands up.
Yes, I just want to thank also everyone who really contributed to that one, and also thank you as a network to really link with you with this TCP project that's funded by the regional office. The issue here is really trying to not to create another process or another activity. It is really complementary to whatever you are really are doing as a network. And we are really benefiting from that strong network that you're really having. Just to make sure that we go a little bit wider than the soil per se, that this taking samples, analyzing them, and so on, but put it in the bigger picture, in the bigger perspective, like it was mentioned by my colleague from Iran, just to make sure that's also very much linked to the desertification process, biodiversity issues, climate change issues, and also the reflection on SDGs and agriculture production as a whole. So it is widening a little bit the scope of whatever the network is doing and making sure that it's really good. So it's also about you colleagues to make sure that you also interact more with the other people in the Ministry of Agriculture and other agriculture related divisions, making sure that to mainstream the soil issues in their work. Whatever, if it's really a country reported to the other organization like UNDCCs, UNFCCC, CPD, and others, make sure that also soil is there. So this project is trying to also make sure that the whole region will really react to the soil in a more integrated way. Thank you.
Many thanks, Mohammed. Indeed, this is very, very important. I give you the floor as I see you on the screen. So Rashid, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Abdelhamid, for this nice presentation and for this TCP. I have just one advice to have more synergy on what we want to do. You know that we have this structured NENA, responsibilities, and we have now our colleague Iman as a chair of this NENA, and we have also appointed some person for each pillar to be, responsible and to give some advice. I think that it's important that this project should be also shared with this person that we have for each pillar, to follow up and also to make doing some synergy on our plan of work that we have already proposed for the region, and we can say how we can also harmonize the work and not to have can I say traditional TCP where you just invite person come in for consultancy without having an integrative approach for developing what we are looking for in NERA region. We know the gaps. We know that there is something that already done in this region, but we need to have more synergy. And by the end of this project, we can fill some gaps and to give some result in connection on what we proposed in our plan of work. So I think it's important to have also this can I say, a board, or can I say committee meeting, ad hoc committee meeting, what you want to say for these projects, or steering committee, or what you want for this regional, just to be informed how things are going, and we can help if it's possible to increase the result of this and outcomes, and also the impact of this project in NENA region. So over.
Thank you, Rashid. Manal, your turn.
About Syria FAO, didn't contact with me or the Ministry of Agriculture. Please take care. Sorry, make sure to send to my ministry, and thank you.
So actually what I did, I wrote a note that as soon as I received the information on the person working on the project from our FAO country offices, I will send them information on the focal points, so that this should facilitate the communication. I already took note of it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Ismail?
Hello, everyone again. I am very happy to see you even virtually. And many thanks to Mr. Abdul Hamid for his good presentation. My comment is following the subject that my friend Rashid mentioned a couple of minutes ago. About the TCP project that Mr. Abdul Hamid presented it excellent. As you know, the implementation of the international project in countries need to good implementation structure in the countries. As Mr. Abdul Hamid mentioned, in the country, only focal points, I think, that cannot organize the what needed in the project. And based on my experience in SIDA project, as you know, that was implemented in 8 countries of NENA region, there is a steering committee in each country. And in addition of national project director, there is national project coordinator in each country to good have coordination, have and good coordination, good arrangement in each country. And I think that it is better in this TCP project. We have the same implementation structure that we have in SIDA project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ismaili. Maybe colleagues at FAO-GSP wants to comment on it, on this proposal. I was not involved in the SIDA project, so I don't know how it was
You
structured.
want me to react to each question, or keep them and react to them together?
Just to those of Rashid and Ismaili that are complementary.
Yes, I can react to both the last two. Well, I don't have anything other than to agree with Muhammad Abdel Menaim, who was to linking the project with the big picture, and that should be the aim, ultimate aim. Rashid, yes, I fully agree with you. Synergy is very important because this project alone cannot create the required change. And it's very important this is a small project. It's very important that to build on whatever idea and to make strong synergies with ongoing projects and program. The comparison between the SIDA project and TCP project, I think these are two different projects. They have different implementation arrangement. GCP projects, like the SIDA one, are big projects with enormous resources. I mean, the SIDA has got 7 million or I don't know, 10 million US dollars. and this is only 400,000. So within the FAO system, the implementation arrangement for TCP projects are quite different from implementation arrangement for GCP projects. Looking at the duration of the GCP project and the amount of resources that project is using. So that's why TCP project also always go for a very simple and straightforward implementation arrangement. I just want to bring this. I mean, you cannot make comparison between the elephant and the cat or the mouse. Huh? This is how I see it.
Many thanks. I hope this clarifies. I think that Saud wanted to say something.
Yeah, if you allow me. Dr. Abdul Hamid, how are you? We met 2 days ago in that one forest in deforestation conference. Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I have 2 things here to raise it up. As I read yesterday, the TCP, are we stick in the area that you selected in the TCP for Oman? Because we have also with us Hamid Al-Dhihli, our national focal point in GSP, and one of my colleagues also, Munir, he's working in the lab, in soil lab. They are here, they are with us now. Okay. The point which I'm going to raise here, are we stick for the area that you selected in Oman? Paragraph. Second point, different countries have a different problem. You just mentioned salinity. As salinity it is just a general. I'll be more technical here. Salinity is just abroad, because here in Oman we are not only suffering from salinity as one of the obstacles, soil, what called the gypsum, which is more popular in the mid of Oman. You are tackling the southern part of Oman, but in the desert area, or in the most important area for us for agriculture investment, it is tackled by calcium carbonate or calcium sulfate, sorry, gypsum. So are we
magnesium sulfate. Magnesium.
No, calcium sulfate.
Magnesium.
No, calcium sulfate. Gypsum, yes, gypsum.
Oh, okay. Amendment was calcium sulfate, you mean? Gypsum requirement, you mean?
No, we do have soils, we classify it as gypsids.
Oh, gypsum.
Gypsids mean it is from 0 to 100 centimeter. It is full of gypsum, like spongy gypsum, or it is more than soil sometimes. So this is why most of the invested area now, our government looking for investment, it is tackled, it is historically rich in gypsum. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, maybe you didn't get my point correctly. The project is addressing soil degradation in general. What any sort of degradation. So I just cited salinity as an example.
Abdul Hamid, can I say something here?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Saud. This is a very important issue. I don't think we stick to whatever it is there, but there is a very good reason to choose the saline area in Oman.
We cannot hear you anymore.
You are muted, Muhammad.
So what I'm saying is this is what we were talking about before, linking to the other issues of climate change. For example, you're in Oman, the issue of sea level rise impacting the groundwater salinity and so on is really important issue. And for sure, we can go to the gypsum, we can go to the other ones, which have been there, and I'm sure there is a lot of projects the government of Oman is doing to solve that. But if you really want to do that link between climate change and soil in a country like Oman, so I will suggest, and for you, for sure, the final decision is yours, but I will suggest picking something like that. This is where now you have the link between the sea level rise impact on soil salinity in the groundwater, and also impacting the productivity of the the areas around. For sure, we will not solve all the problems with these few hundreds you will be ending up, but at least we will represent the case of that synergy some people were talking about recently. Thank you.
Many thanks, Mohammed. Any other remark from the floor? Suggestions? It's all clear. Rashid, I see your hands up.
I see also.
But maybe Tahir has hands up also.
Yeah,
I give floor to him if it's possible.
Yes.
And I come back.
Bahram first then.
You are muted, Bahram.
Dr. Tahir, we cannot hear you.
You are muted, Dr. Tahir.
Thank you very much for reminding me that. That happens when you get older. First of all, I wanted to second what Rashid said earlier, and also Mohammed just repeated. I really would like to see these interlinkages that we can explore, positive synergies and negative synergies. For the positive synergies, we can improve the productivity of whatever we do, and then with understanding and managing the negative synergies which are there, we can prevent a lot of losses. So the overall impact would be higher and better productivity. So the topic of nexus aspects of positive and negative synergies should be integrated into whatever we do. And because this is also a new topic, I would like to encourage all of our colleagues in NENA region that let's push it forward and again take a position of hopefully leadership within NENA from within FAO from NENA region, so that we can produce something and spread it to other regions of NENA for teaching and sharing. And after saying that, I should also apologize because I have to leave sooner. It is 7 minutes that my students are sitting in the virtual class and are sending messages to me on my phone that where are you? So if everyone permits, I would apologize for leaving sooner, and unfortunate that I will not be able to hear rest of your comments. Thanks a lot. It was great to meet all of you.
Many thanks, Bahram. Actually, we are sorry because you are not leaving soon. We are finishing late, so I'm sorry. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you. It was great to meet all of you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Dr. Tahir. Goodbye. So, can I come on my intervention, Lucrezia? Something as okay. So I have just one, as I said, one recommendation to be more. You know, this project, as you said, it's can I say it's small in terms of amount, but you know, we look on it as seed money. We normally should look to others. It's, I think for the region there is a good feeling that now soil take place and they come as an important issue in the region. I think as I said, it's good if we can develop among this team that we have now, because we work together many years now, to develop ad hoc steering committee. I insist on that because we need to support each of our national teams and also international at regional level to say what this project could handle and what is still needed to be developed. It's just a matter of information and synergy than other issues. So I insist to have this committee between us to help in this and also to look to other opportunity. Yeah, as I said. So thank you.
Thank you, Rashid. This was noted. Any other question or remark?
Can I say something quickly?
Yes, please.
Before Abdurrahman will say. No, the issue what was mentioned now is very important. Now soil have been looked at very. It has been always a very important topic, but now with this what we call now market of funding, it will be hard really to sell the issue of soil by itself unless you really link it to the bigger picture. And the bigger picture here is climate change, you have SDGs, sustainable development, synergies with energy, and so on and so forth. So it's very important to work on soil and look at the analysis and so on and so forth. But unless you really link it to the bigger issue, which is really where you have the fund is going to, no one now will go ahead and support a project only for soil improvement. This now, people have looked over that. Even the national programs themselves, they are really looking for bigger. So it is about us now as a team to how to really make that linkage and to make sure to show the value of soil in terms of development and linking to the water scarcity, linked to the climate change, linked to the biodiversity. This is where now the people are really looking for a way to fund the soil issue. Sorry to say that in blunt, but it is also important to highlight. Thank you.
Please add also food security.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Plant productivity as well. Plant productivity as well in different discrete.
Anyway, the message is there. The message, you cannot highlight a project only on soil. This is what I'm saying.
The productivity for food security.
Indeed, as soon as you will receive the final version of the document, you will see that actually these aspects are kind of addressed in the document. The first activity that we have to implement, and it is the one that we really need of your support on, is about working on national data and to get an overview on the status of soils, but not soil just as soil itself, but also linking to water, fertilizer application, nutrient content, and so on. So the link to food security is also in there. As soon as you will receive the document, you will see this.
Okay.
Hakim.
Yes. Yeah, I really concur with what Abdul Munaim have just said. What is important here, and also it goes back to the question from Ali Reza. Juf, the linkage should be established. This is a small project. In every country, if there are other initiatives, ongoing projects, the linkage is possible. You know, one of the main advantages of a TCP project, it's that it is somehow flexible. You know, it can take into consideration the field reality. It can be reoriented. It can, you know, unlike the GCP project that is funded by some other partners, you need to get his agreement and so on. When it is just TCP, FAO funded, in close collaboration with national partner, the project can be really fine-tuned, even sometime, you know, oriented to the priorities that the country have identified while the project is still ongoing. So that's just to tell you that, you know, it's good to consider the SIDA project, which has an important pillars, and use this TCP as a way to connect to that project, which has like $14 million. So, and one of the key elements that Abdul Munaim have just said also is to link soil with other elements, food securities, or I will suggest that you use it as a water storage. You know, the main issue in our region is water scarcity, and soil as we know it is a big water storage place, water resources reservoir. So we need to use these windows to get connected to water projects that are many, you know. Water projects are directly linked also to climate changes. So you get the connection like that. So please do not hesitate. Any countries, if you see any possible linkages with other ongoing projects, as it be on water, food security related, climate change, get this TCP on your hands and take it there to linkage and then use it for fundraising later on. It works very well, and FAO can come with you to raise funds on that. Thank you.
Yes, indeed, there is a strong component on awareness raising in the project document, because basically we want to strengthen the data on soil and availability of information on soil at the national and regional level to raise awareness also to policymakers and to donors at all levels. There are also a series of webinars that we have to organize in the project document that aim to do this as well.
Can I? Yes. Thank you. I say hi to Maki, but it's a long time to have see you. And
this is COVID.
Yes, yes. But Maki, when we signed the LOA last year, the LOA was destinated for implementation and for VG SSM on soil. And this is in the framework of this objective we sent the LOA, and it was signed by the minister, and to support this initiative, this regional initiative. And the main objective was how to implement VG-SSM and how to follow the impact on soil, and how this initiative can improve the soil properties and to improve for fertility and productivity. And also the storage of soil, of water in soil automatically can be improved by improvement of fertility and characteristic of soil. So I think that we are well positioned in this project. Thank you.
Definitely. I do agree. It's nice to see you, Rafla.
Nice to see you. Yes, we will organize the meeting. We need to organize meeting soon, very soon. And it
you can talk to each other in Tunisia.
Yes, but Corona, but COVID have done very much damage this time. Yes.
Okay, guys.
Yes.
So we're very late. I'm very sorry. Is there any further question or remark, really in practical terms, on how to implement this project? So you will be contacted by the FAO country offices. They will send you the project document, and then you can further discuss with them the implementation of the project at the country level. We are, under this project, we are assigning some budget to each country. So that's also something you need to know. And the money, as far as I know, will be managed by the FAO country offices. But my colleague, Abdelhamid, can confirm. And then you follow up basically with your country office. All fine?
But Maki, I second your point on linking this project with the SIDA, with the water. I mean, for us who are working in the side of land management, we consider water and land as twins. They're inseparable. Sure. But the issue is that one of these twins has grown very big and the other one is getting smaller. This is the thing. And we need to leverage the importance of soil and lands in general to the level of that the water has reached. In my view, for instance, when I look to soil and water in this region, there is a scarcity of water. There is acute scarcity of water, but we have also another potentials in the side of water. We have a lot of conventional non-water sources you can use, but we don't have non-conventional soil resources to use if we lose this soil and particularly for the small producers. I mean, bigger ones and those who have money can go to hydroponics or whatever, doing different things. But so the issue so the issue of awareness should come very strongly. And I know that this project cannot create the awareness about the importance of soil erosion. If this project can help in compiling the information, in developing communication tools, appropriate communication tools for awareness raising on the importance of soil, I think that's a step. That could be a step forward in the long path toward raising the awareness on the importance of this very crucial resource.
So, Abdel, you will help us making the connection, right? As mentioned before, I'm not involved in the CEDA project, so I cannot really help. But you and colleagues that work on it, including Makin, can help, I think, on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the focal points also on the ground there at the country level, who are working on both, like Riza, like. Yeah.
Okay. I'm afraid to ask you, but do you have anything else to add to the discussion? If not, I would like to thank you all. And actually, maybe this come a bit late, but I would really like to thank the chair of the NENA Soil Partnership, the vice chair, the two vice chair actually, because we have two, and the chair of the 5 pillars for the work they did over the last 2 years. So from 2018 to 2020. Because their mandate came to an end. So thank you very much. You worked very hard and very well, and we really appreciated it. I think at the country and regional level, but also at the GSP, so the global level. Thank you very much. I will follow up on the nomination of the new chairs and vice chairs by email. The current chair can and vice chairs can recandidate if they like. And also other national focal points and experts are welcome to submit an application for the position. Then we will do the online voting for the new nominees. So thank you very much. I'm very sorry we are 1 hour late, but I think it was a very productive meeting. I will draft the report and send it to you all for review before publishing it, so that you can check on the information that I report in it. So thank you very much, and thank you very much for staying with us till the end.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Regis. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.